I do need something.
For Daily Genius?
Yeah. You know, I had a thought. We haven't done any marketing for the 90-day event yet. I haven't really used any of that footage. Maybe I could try and create like a best of the event.
Jordy, every time I come and get you, I have to get gas. Is that weird? How does that happen? Tell me that the universe has some kind of mystical order to it.
The universe has some kind of mystical order to it. Yes. See?
This intersection...
It's to remind you that I am the fuel to your success.
That's what I'm talking about, evidence collection right there.
Seriously, I still think Alex needs a shirt that says AFAF.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
What's AFAF? Like Alex Porter as fuck.
My name is Alexander Ford. Obviously, I run a company called Measurable Genius. So thank you for coming. Without you, like I said in my video, it is entertaining when I talk to myself, but this is a nice change of pace. And how many of you know that there's someone in your life who set a goal? They said, I promise, I swear to God, I'm going to go do this thing, right? And then it doesn't happen. We've all had experience with that, right? And you yourselves have done that, right? I swear to God, I'm going to vacuum tomorrow. I promise. I didn't forget to take out the garbage, but you did, right? 99% of the planet lives that way. 99% of the planet lives in a way where they're trying to be a way that's different than who they actually end up being. Does that make sense? You set goals, you don't achieve them. You set expectations, you don't achieve them. You make promises and you break them, right? Set deadlines and don't cross them, right? So a lot of the work today I'm going to fill in with the behavioral principles that are going to help align some of these goals and objectives with what's truly most meaningful and important to you. Because if it's not truly calculated or computated by your midbrain, like your subconscious faculties, that what you're doing each day or each moment is meaningful, you automatically recomputate and retask. We're not in charge of that, right? Our brains present to us a fixed number of options based on all of the data available to it at any given time. And we select from those options and then we say, oh, well, I chose this. Like, I'm in charge of my own destiny. But 10,000 things happened in your brain before those options were even available to you, right? How many of you have walked right past an opportunity to make money? Didn't even see it, right? And the question is, why? Why is it that some people see them and other people don't? Why is it that your wife or your husband sees everything that you should have done better and you didn't, right? Why does that happen? And so we're going to dig into some of that today. My mission in life is to activate genius, leadership, and potential over time, and our brand promise is to help business owners build the business of their dreams, and that's not going to happen in 90 days. Right? And I know that because I've been doing this for 17 years, and like, I'm not satisfied. How many of you feel that way? You've been doing this for a while. There's more fucking work to do, right? So we're polluted in messaging from YouTube and from the internet and from superstar business gurus that somehow you can fucking go make millions of dollars in a bikini on Instagram tomorrow, doing fucking nothing, then making YouTube videos and showing your ass off and doing workout exercises and stuff on the internet. Like, it's crazy the way people think that you can make money. I truly believe that money is a byproduct, wealth is a byproduct of truly being of service to others, right? And as a caveat, you can be entirely in service to self if you want. I just feel like the strategy of being in service to self really demands you go all in on it. Like, if you're not willing to go full fucking supervillain, service to self isn't going to be a path to enlightenment, you know? I feel like the most effective path to my own growth and my development is to solve problems and to solve challenges, to transcend illusions, to dissolve barriers, to break through and help people do whatever it is that's meaningful to them, right? So service is a moving target because it depends on you knowing what's important to the person you're serving. Is that fair? accountability has become like my jam. Accountability is a topic that I didn't have a fucking clue what it meant until like 3 months ago when it just clicked for me and I realized that businesses are not driven by actions, they're driven by accountabilities. And so we're going to talk a lot about accountability today. We're going to define the difference between accountability and responsibility, how accountabilities can only be assigned to one person, and how every single thing a visionary spontaneously combusts into existence demands an accountability or else it's going to hit zero. How many of you have had that? You come up with a great idea, you fucking spin it up, you throw it into the universe, and then it just fucking dies. And you're like, what the hell? How come nobody caught that? I'm throwing balls, you guys. Fucking catch them. Who knows what a start, stop, keep meeting is? Okay, I'll explain it. A start, stop, keep meeting is a 5-minute meeting that goes like this. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Alex.
You're my employee. Welcome to the meeting.
Okay.
Tell me what we should start doing, stop doing, and keep doing here. And then you write down the answers. But it seems simple, right? It's like, are you sure you're not going to ask anything else? But that's a function of values, which we're also going to talk about today, because it's just like to a person with the values for whatever it is they're talking about, it's like, well, whatever, this is just my jam. Like, I don't know, how come you don't see it? How many of you know what I'm talking about, right? But over here, I'm like buried in my rabbit holes, thinking everything is more complex than anyone can understand, and it's just, it takes a person to, so it's just opening the conversation for feedback. That's all they are. And if you collect enough of it, like, we do one every single week. I do one with every employee, and so it's just a rotation. And Everett does one with each employee on a different rotation. And yeah, so that's something can all of you just commit to start doing this one thing right now? Yeah. All you have to do is sit down with an employee, just get a list of your employees, put a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, and just rotate them through 5 minutes a week, sit them down, start doing, stop doing, and keep doing. That's it.
Do you do this part as your daily stand-up?
No. Separate 5-minute meeting, close the door, let them relax, give them permission. People don't like to give feedback. They're like, who am I to give the great big boss the feedback? And I'm like, seriously, can you fucking tell me? I don't know, I can't see in your head. Okay. How many of you have employees that they don't know if they did a good job or not? They try, but they end up in these infinite workloads. They feel like they have to justify their existence by working hard. How many of you know what I'm talking about? You are doing this because as a business owner, you don't know how to measure if you're successful or not. How many of you know you're successful if you made money? That's your success indicator, right? Like your employees, you give them a measure that is green or red. It's either yes, you did a good job, or no, you didn't. They will leave work inspired. You give them a metric that is unclear, or they come up with their own metrics because they don't believe your metrics, they will work themselves to death and blame you for it. How many of you know what I'm talking about? They will work themselves to death following metrics because they think they're smarter than you because you haven't taken initiative to give it to them. Right? But the same goes for you. How many of you know what I'm talking about as an individual? You haven't set up success indicators in your own life. Like, let's just dive out of the business conversation for a second. How many of you have success markers for whether you're fulfilled as a human being or not? Yeah. Right? The only way to get out of the rat race is to have that marker. My recommendation is hire a coach, you get what you pay for, but you need to have someone to go to when you're like having a panic attack. Like when your cash flow numbers have hit rock bottom and you need somebody to talk to, it shouldn't be your team. Does that make sense? Because if you make it your team, now your team is just sharing the burden. And how many of you have seen that if the owner is stressed, everyone else now plays stress competition? Like, who can be the most stressed out today? Oh, he's stressed. I'm going to be stresser. You think your life's hard? I don't know why we do that. It's weird. There's a bit of power in being stressed, hey? Your coach should hold you accountable to the vision for who you know you are, not the emotional animal you're being right now. How many of you know that when you're emotional, you become animal in nature? What do you want to do? Sugar, salt, sex, chocolate, impulses, right? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. How when your stress indicators push you into impulse and instinct response, Your prefrontal cortex shuts down, your amygdala activates, and it's pure survival. And when it becomes pure survival, what happens? All or nothing, right? I'm gonna fire that motherfucker. How many of you know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna Seriously, 90% of business is managing emotions. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Your own emotions, and then also all the people you employ, because they're fucking bananas. We're all bananas. Jen, show your shirt. Bananas. Because most people get married out of fantasy and addiction, not out of a congruent mission and purpose. How many of you were told, find a woman who wants to fucking achieve a mission with you and get on purpose and do something meaningful in the world? Who cares about the fantasy romance shit? Who told you that? I did, just now. Listen to me. Right? Instagram quote card. And in the world of gazelles, strategy and marketing are the same thing, because their strategy is for you to be in the market. Right? And your strategy is the cornerstone of your communication and your culture, which is internal and external, which stands for communication to the market. You're marketing to your employees, you're marketing to your vendors, you're marketing to your customers, you're marketing to your prospects, you're marketing to everyone. And marketing is simply the communication of the strategy, which is supporting your vision and your purpose. Does everyone understand? So strategy and marketing are the same thing. As you become more confident and certain in the strategy, your marketing and your communication becomes automatic. The thing is, people will self-govern according to a plan. If we look at execution, improving execution is most effective when you take a governed person and make them more efficient. So if you're trying to make people without a plan more efficient, there's someone who does a quote, I don't remember who it is, but they basically, Bill Gates. If you give stupid people better tools, they just end up dumber. I'm paraphrasing, right? If you give inefficient people technology, they just become more inefficient. If you give efficient people technology, they become more efficient. So efficiency is towards what? The goal, the plan, the strategy. So it's any business owner who starts hiring a bunch of people without having a clearly defined plan is guaranteed to spend all of their time managing fires and people and emotions, because you have nothing to pull everybody back to, right? So having a lot of people in an ungoverned business is like an animal business, right? You're going to be run by your people. I think you should do this. I think you should do this. I think you should do this. And you're like, well, I don't fucking know, because where's the plan? Like, okay, that sounds great. Okay, that sounds great. When you know you have your core values right, when you don't know why people stay with you. I don't know why they're here. We go through rough times. It's hard to do what we do. Imagine having 250 people calling you fucking angry every time they pick up the phone. We run an IT company. You know. It's not like, I'm having a great time because my computer's broken. Like, we've had to become an energy sink for anxiety, and for challenge, and for despair, and for depression, and for people who don't know what they're going to do, or don't know what the plan is, or they can't make decisions, and everything's a panic. And for whatever reason, we endure that. And I don't know necessarily why my staff endures that, but what I do know, and I have to recognize, and I don't want to, because I have a story that says I'm not valuable and you're going to give up on me. Okay? So in spite of that, I have to be like, why are these 7 people trying so hard? Right? Like, Warren, you're going through some shit today. I'm not going to share what it is, but you chose to stay here. And I'm like, what? Why? Why? And I go to my customers, and I'm sure it's offensive when I'm like, why are you paying me? You know? Like, are you sure we're valuable? And I still don't know. Like, I need fucking validation non-stop, and I'm too fucking proud to ask for it. But all of that happens because I gave myself permission to figure out what was meaningful to me. To figure out these things I'm asking you to talk about at lunchtime that most corporations don't take seriously. They just don't. They're like, well, it's a fucking check the box, da, da, da. Like, why are we here? And all of these big ass corporations are full of people who hate their lives, right? I want to invest in inspiration, not desperation. Like, my mission is to activate genius, leadership, and potential. And if I can help you do that, you can help your team do that. And if you can help your team do that, they're going to go home to their families and they're going to have that too, right? So I encourage you to really think about why you do what you do, not from like a moral or ethical place, but because your being, that intrinsic property, is what magnetizes people to you. Yours will show up in your unique way for you. That story is unique for you, right? And those things drive you. and they compel you into action, and your team will stand behind you too, and often they are, and you don't know why, just like I don't know why. But you know you're close when people believe in it, right? You know you're close when your team is standing by you in the face of challenge. You know you're close when they're willing to take on and step into challenge and be persistent, right? And anywhere in the company where people aren't being persistent, where people are giving up, or where you're giving up, that's not your values. So you can look for those things, right? I don't have a fucking clue how we got here, but that's the end of that. That's it, that's all. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for believing in yourself. Thank you for putting in the time. Thank you to myself for being persistent, for taking the risk to putting this on. I'm very grateful that you came. Thank you.